Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Brown, and today we are getting ready to do some phonics and language. And before we do that, let me just say that I love you guys. I miss you a whole bunch. I miss seeing all of your beautiful and handsome faces every day in our classroom. And I'm sure that you guys miss each other as well. So I'm planning this week for us to just hang out all together as a class so that you guys can get to see each other and we can just kind of chit chat and have a good time catching up with our classmates. Now, let's get back to our phonics and language. This video is going to work the same way that the video from last week worked. You're just going to come back to the video, a different part of the video each day, and do that day's lesson. You're going to do that every day except for Thursday. There will be no video for Thursday. So for today, today's Monday, you should be on page 191, which looks like this. And we are going to be learning about finding verbs and subjects. So just a little review, a little refresher. A verb is any word that tells an action. So any word that tells something you can do is a verb. For example, the word taunt is a verb. Taunt is something that you can do. I hope while you're in the house, if you have any siblings, that you're not taunting your brother or sisters. This is another verb. The word stir is an action. It is absolutely something that you can do. I was stirring up some pancake mix this morning. Well, not this morning, yesterday I made pancakes. So stir is a verb. Here's another word that tells something you can do. The word dance is also a verb. And last week, didn't we learn that a verb could be something that you do that you can see, and also there are some verbs that you can't see. So for example, words like hear or listen are also verbs. You can do them even though you can't actually see somebody hearing, or you can't see that somebody is listening. So those are verbs. We learned last week that the verb is in the predicate of the sentence. And in case you forgot what a predicate is, I have my handy dandy sheet right here. The predicate is what the subject does, and the subject of a sentence is who or what the sentence is about, okay? So you're going to find in, when you're reading a sentence, you're going to find that a verb goes in the predicate. So let's take a look at page 191. Put your finger on the green paw and let's read it together, just like we would if we were in class. Okay, find the verb. What is the action in the predicate? We just talked about that. The verb is going to be the action word that's in the predicate of the sentence. Find the subject. Ask who or what did the action. So here they have an example for us in red. The sentence is, Dad drove our car to the store. So tell me, please, Jariah, what is the subject in this sentence? The subject is Dad. They underlined Dad once. And then what is the predicate? Nagusi. Okay, the predicate is drove our car to the store. That is telling what happened, or that's telling what the subject does. So drove our car to the store is the predicate, and the verb we see is in the predicate. They underline the verb twice, which is the word drove. So now if we read underneath that red sentence, it says find the verb. What is the action? And you're only telling one word for the action. The action is drove. Then find the subject. Who drove? Well, you're only using one word for that, and that is Dad, okay? So the subject is Dad, the verb is drove. Let's do number one together. It says draw a line. That's a vertical line going up and down, just like we always do. Draw a line between the subject and the predicate. Underline the verb twice, underline the subject once. That's just like they did with the red sentence in the green box. Okay, could you please read number one for us, Josiah? A shepherd cares for the sheep. So what is the subject? Underline the subject one time. Okay, you should have underlined a shepherd. And then what is the predicate? predicate is cares for the sheep. So you should have a vertical line in between shepherd and cares. And please tell me what the verb is, Brianna. Yes, the verb is cares. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. Our shepherd protects us. So what is the subject? The subject is our shepherd. You should have underlined that one time. And then the predicate is protects us. So you should have a vertical line going up and down in between shepherd and protects. And we're going to underline one time the subject, which is shepherd. And then the verb that you're going to underline 2 times is protects. Okay? Let's read the third sentence. We pray to him. The subject, go ahead and underline it one time. You should have underlined the word we. And the predicate is pray to him. So we should have a vertical line going up and down between the words we and pray. Now, the subject is we, so you underline that one time. And what is the verb? Yeah, the verb is pray. So you should underline pray 2 times. And go ahead and read the last sentence, which is Jesus cares for us. Underline the subject 1 time and put a vertical line going up and down after the subject. Okay, so you should have underlined Jesus 1 time, and you should have a vertical line going up and down after the word Jesus. And then the verb is cares. That is the action of what Jesus does. He cares. So we should underline cares 2 times. Okay, now we're moving on to number 2. It says write a subject or a verb to finish each sentence. And we'll all have different answers on this one, right? So we know the subject is who or what the sentence is about. The first one says blank enjoys reading a book. Write any subject that you want to in the blank. Okay. The next one says a cold wind blank the snowflakes. Go ahead and put an action word in there. Put in a verb for what the cold wind does to the snowflakes. Okay, the third one is Claire blank a picture for Aunt Sue. And you need a verb in that blank. So there's an action that Claire does with the picture. Write it in the blank. And then the last one, blank likes to swing from trees. Write any subject that you like in the blank. Okay? So now it's time for dictation. I'm going to say the directions to you. And what you're going to do is you are going to write the root word for the word that I say. Now, we haven't done root words in a little bit. It's been, a little while since we've done them. So I'll give you a quick refresher. So the root word is the word that you have when you take away the suffix. When you remove any endings, you are going to be left with a root word. So for example, if I write, hope you guys can see that. If I write the word praying, the root word is pray. Because when I take away ing, I have my root word, which is pray. So here are your directions for the dictation. I'm going to say a word. You write down only the root word, okay? The first word is, I already gave it to you guys. I did not mean to do that. The first word is praying. Go ahead and write it down. The second word is babies. Write the root word for babies. The third word is quickly. write the root word for quickly. And remember, hit pause on the video whenever you need to so you can get your work done. And the last word is trying. Okay, so let's go over them. I'm just gonna have down here at the bottom of the screen what you should have written for each word. For praying, the root word is pray. For babies, the root word is baby. For quickly, the root word is quick. And for trying, the root word is try. All right, guys, we are done now with our phonics and language today. I'll see you back tomorrow on this same video for a little bit more phonics and language. Hey, boys and girls, happy Tuesday. Today you should be in your phonics and language packet on page 193. So today we're going to be learning about verbs that tell about more than one person or thing, and how some verbs tell about only one person or thing. I have a little picture here that I've done. Please don't laugh. I've already told you guys I'm no artiste. I just do my best, okay? So here you see a lady, and there's only one of her. She's only one lady. Next to her, I've written one person or thing. And if you have a verb that is telling what one person does or what one thing does, you are going to add S or ES to the end of that verb, okay? So for example, this lady, maybe she is walking or maybe she's smiling. If I want to add, if I want to tell that she's walking, I would write the verb walk, W-A-L-K, and then I'll put an S at the end of it. She walks to the store, or she walks to her bedroom, okay? Always add S or ES to the end of the verb if it's telling about only one person or only one thing. Now over here, I have a couple of people. There's a guy and a girl, okay? So this would be showing more than one person. And whenever you have a verb that is telling what more than one person or more than one thing is doing, you don't add an ending to the end of that verb, okay? So for more than one person or thing, don't add an ending. So if I want to say if I want to tell that they are walking, or if I want to tell that they are smiling, I might say they walk to the store, or they smile at the baby, but I'm not putting an ending on the end of walk. I'm not putting an ending on the end of smile, okay? I'm running out of space. Where will I write it? I'll write it in between them. They walk home, okay? Now let's look at number one, or actually put your finger on the paw at the top of page 193, and let's read that together. A verb that ends in S or ES tells what one person or thing does. Do not add S or ES to the verb if the sentence tells about more than one. Okay, the example in red, one dog barks. We know that one dog would only be one thing, and so that's why we have to add S to the end of bark, and then it becomes one dog barks. If there's more than one dog, we're not going to put an ending at the end of bark. That's why it says two dogs bark. You don't add an ending if you're talking about two or more people. You don't add an ending if you're talking about two or more things. When I say you don't add an ending, I mean you don't add an ending to the verb. Okay, so let's do number one together. It says mark the bubble next to the sentence with the correct verb. Let's read both of them. My dog likes bones. My dog likes bones. So the person or thing in this sentence is the dog, and the verb is like. If there's only one dog, which would be one thing, we have to add S. So we should bubble in, my dog likes bones. That's the second choice. Let's go to the next one. Pastor Taylor preaches in chapel, and Pastor Taylor preach in chapel. Which one is correct? Well, let's think about it. Pastor Taylor is the person, and preach is the verb. Pastor Taylor is only one person, So we have to add either S or ES to the end of preach. And it's going to be ES. Pastor Taylor preaches in chapel. Okay? The next one is the teacher turns on the light, or the teacher turn on the light. Well, who's the sentence about? It's about the teacher. Is the teacher one person or more than one person? Yeah, the teacher is only one person. So for one person, we need to add either S or ES to the end of the verb. Bubble in the correct answer. And it should be the teacher turns on the light with an S added to the end of turn. We have two more. Let's do them. Kittens feels soft, or kittens feel soft. So what is the sentence about? What's the subject? Okay, it's about kittens. Kittens is more than one thing. So for this sentence, we should not add, it's going to be that we don't add an ending. Just kittens feel soft. No ending on the end of feel. And the last one, he writes well, or he write well. Who is this sentence about? The subject is he. Is he one person or more than one person? He is only one person, which means we need to add S or ES to the end of write. And it should be just an S. He writes well. For number 2, I want you to do that one on your own, and you're going to do number 2 after we do dictation. Or you can just pause right now and do number 2 and then come and do dictation. Your choice. Okay, so now we're moving on to dictation, and here are your directions. Well, actually, before we get into the directions, think about the special sound you hear in the word bowl. In the word bowl, the special sound is O, spelled with O-W, okay? How do you spell the special sound O, like in bowl? O-W, very good. And, okay, so now this is what you're going to do. You are going to write the word that I say. There are 3 words, and you're just going to write the word that I say. The first word is weeds. Weeds. Like I have to pick all the weeds out of the garden. Okay, your next word is crashing. Write that down. Crashing. And the final word is window. Window. I'm sitting in front of a window. All right, so let's go over them. Well, actually, let's do the last part of dictation and then we'll go over them. So I'm going to say a sentence and you are going to write the sentence that I say. Well, they already gave you part of it, but you're going to write the sentence I say. I'll say it for you twice. Sue, Mom, and I picked strawberries. Sue, Mom, and I picked strawberries. Go ahead and write that down now. All right, let's go ahead and go over all of your words. The first one was weeds. That should be W-E-E-D-S. It's right here at the bottom of the screen. Next was crashing, C-R, A, S-H, and ing is I-N-G. And then the last word was window. That has the O sound just like in bowl. W-I-N-D-O-W, okay? And then for your last sentence, it's also down here at the bottom of the screen. Sue, comma, Mom with a capital M, because remember, if you say Mom as a name, we capitalize the M. The comma after Mom, because we have a list of people. And I picked strawberries. And for strawberries, we had to drop the Y and add I-E-S. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Tuesday's work. I'll see you back here tomorrow on Wednesday. Hey boys and girls, happy Wednesday. Time for a little bit more phonics and language. Today what we're going to do is we are going to be reviewing what we learned yesterday and what we learned while we were still back actually meeting in our school building at ICA. So let's take a look and just go straight to the remember bone at the top of the page and let's read it together. Remember, a verb that ends in S or ES tells what one person or thing does. Do not add S or ES to the verb if the sentence tells about more than one. We talked about that yesterday with my fabulous drawing of one person who gets S or ES added to the end of their verb. And then we have two people, and we know that if there's two or more, then you don't add an ending. So let's read number one together. The directions say mark the bubble next to singular if the subject and verb are singular. Mark the bubble next to plural if the subject and verb are plural. Okay? The first one is horses eat hay. Okay? We know that horses is plural, that's more than one, and eat is the verb. We did not add an ending to eat because horses is talking about more than one horse. So that should be plural. Let's read the next one. The bus goes down this street. Okay? What's the subject or what's the noun in this sentence? Yes, the noun is bus. So think about, is that singular or is it plural? And we know bus is singular. That's only naming one bus. And the verb goes, they had to add an S to the end of it. So that is singular. Let's read the next one. Children come. Okay. The noun or the subject is children. Is children singular, meaning only one? Or is it plural, meaning more than one? Children is plural. Okay. And so we're going to bubble in plural. The snowmen melt. The noun here is, okay, it is snowmen. Is snowmen singular, which means only one, or is snowmen plural, which means more than one? Yes, snowmen is plural. Okay, so we should bubble in plural. And the next one, Miss Harris teaches. The noun in this sentence is Miss Harris. Is Miss Harris singular, meaning only one person? Or is Miss Harris plural, meaning she's more than one person? Okay, Miss Harris is singular. And that's why we added an ES to the end of teaches. Because if there's only one person, Miss Harris, then we have to add ES to the end of the verb. Now let's read number two. Write the abbreviation for the underlined word. The word is Wednesday. How would you write the abbreviation? We know an abbreviation is a shorter way of writing a longer word. The abbreviation for Wednesday, go ahead and write it down now. That should be WED, period. And that's a capital W, lowercase e, lowercase d. We'll go down the column. The next one is November. Write the abbreviation for November. That should be capital N-O-V, period. The next is Thursday. What's the abbreviation for Thursday? It is capital T-H-U-R-S, period. Okay, and then for doctor, we've talked about this one as well. The abbreviation, write it down, is capital D-R, period. Or on the next column now, for Mr., the abbreviation is, write it down, it's capital M-R, period. The abbreviation for Mrs., please write it down. We know Mrs. is a lady who is married. The abbreviation for Mrs. is capital M-R-S, period. Please write the abbreviation for January. You should have written capital Jan, period. And write the abbreviation for May. Guys, we talked about this one before as well. There is no abbreviation for May. It's such a short word that it doesn't have an abbreviation. So for May, you should just write capital M-A-Y. Okay? Now we're moving on to dictation down at the bottom of the page. I'm going to say a short sentence. I'm going to give you two choices for the verb. I want you to write the correct verb, okay, based on whether it's singular or plural. Let's try that again. So the first one is dad talk or dad talks. Write the correct verb. Next, balloons hang, or is it balloons hangs? Write the correct verb. The next one is we enjoy or we enjoys. Write the correct verb. Either we enjoy or we enjoys. The last one is Aunt Susie call or Aunt Susie calls. Write the correct verb. Okay, let's go over them. It's right here at the bottom of the screen. The first one should be talk. Dad talks. Dad is only one person. And so we should add an S to the end of talks. The next one was balloons hang. That should be H-A-N-G, balloons hang. Balloons is more than one. Okay, so we don't add an ending to the end of hang. The next one was we enjoy. We is more than one, so we don't add an ending to the end of enjoy. And the last one, Aunt Susie calls. Aunt Susie is only one person, so we add an S to the end of calls. And boys and girls, that is going to do it for today. I will see you back not tomorrow, but on Friday for the last of our phonics and language. All right, boys and girls, happy Friday. We are at the end of the week. This is our last phonics and language assignment of the week. And today you should be on page number 199. It's a page with the purple flowers. Today we're going to be doing something we have not done before. We're going to be diagramming subjects and verbs. So the subject is who or what the sentence is about. We know verbs are action words. They're words that tell what someone is doing. They're words such as fall or hear or listen or sweep. Okay? So we can see, put your finger on the green box at the top of the page, on the green paw, and when you're diagramming a subject and a verb, you are going to write the subject first, and you're going to write the verb after the subject. The verb is going to go after the line. Or I could say there's going to be a line going up and down that separates the subject and the verb. So for example, if I have this sentence, I swept the floor. Well, I need to think about what is the subject in my sentence. The subject is I. Okay, so I would underline my subject once, and I'll draw a vertical line after my subject, and then my verb is swept. So I'll underline my verb 2 times. And then what I'm going to do, when I see my little thing that looks like this, there's a line going across and then a line going up and down. The first thing I'm going to write is my subject, which is I. The next thing I'm going to write after my vertical line that goes up and down is the verb that I underlined twice, which is swept. Okay, so this is how we diagram subjects and verbs. The subject comes first, the verb or the action word comes next. So if we go back to our green box at the top of the page right here, it says mark the sentence. Let's read that sentence together. Tomatoes grow in my garden. So I want you to trace over what they already underlined. Trace over the line below tomatoes. That is the subject of the sentence, so you just underline that once. And then trace over the vertical line that separates the subject and the predicate. And then trace over the lines below the word grow. The verb is grow, okay? And then we can see down on the very bottom of the green box, we have the word tomatoes. We have the line that separates it from the verb. And the second word is grow. That second word is the verb. So that is how we diagram sentences. Let's do number one. Excuse me. Let's do number one together. It says, mark the sentence, diagram the subject and the verb. Let's read that sentence together. Austin caught the football. All right, Mason, what is the subject of this sentence? The subject is Austin, so let's draw a line underneath Austin one time. And let's put a vertical line after Austin to separate the subject from the predicate. What is the verb in this sentence, Cyan? I hope you said that the verb is caught because that is the action word. So let's underline caught 2 times. Now on the lines right here, we are going to put Austin on this first line. That's the subject. And then after the vertical line going up and down, we are going to write the word caught. Your paper should have the word Austin first, and then caught should come next. Let's read the next one. Beautiful orchids grow in the Nainital jungle. Beautiful orchids grow in the Nainital jungle. So can I please have Carter tell me what is the subject in this sentence? Carter, I hope you said the subject is orchids. That is what the sentence is about. And you can see the purple flower there. That is an example of what orchids look like. So let's underline orchids one time, and we'll put a vertical line going up and down after the word orchids. And what is the verb? What's the action word in this sentence, Nagusi? Yes, the verb is grow. So underline grow 2 times. And right here on the first line, at the beginning of the line, let's write orchids. That's the subject of what the sentence is about. And then on the second part of the line, let's write the word grow. That is the verb of what orchids do. Okay, let's read the next one. 3 buzzards circled high in the sky. 3 buzzards circled high in the sky. Please tell me, Josiah, what is the subject in this sentence? Okay, I hope you said that the subject is buzzards. Buzzards are a certain type of bird. So let's underline buzzards one time. And then what is the, what's the verb, Madison? Did you say that the verb is circled? Because it is. That's what they did. When they're flying around in circles, they are circling. So it says 3 buzzards circled high in the sky. Let's underline circled 2 times. And you should have your vertical line going up and down in between buzzards and circled. And down here on the first line, I hope that you wrote buzzards. That's the subject of the sentence. And then here you should have written circled. That is what they did. And on to the last one. Workers picked bananas high in the trees. Please tell me the subject in this sentence, Jonathan. Okay, the subject that you should have underlined one time is workers. That's who the sentence is about. And what is their action? What's the verb in this sentence that tells what the workers did? Trinity. Yes, the verb is picked. That's what they did. So let's underline the word picked 2 times. And we should have a vertical line going up and down in between workers and picked. Okay? And so here at the beginning of the line, you should have the word workers. That's the subject. And then on this side, you should have the word picked. That is the verb of what they did. Or that's the verb that tells what they did. Now let's take a look at number 2. It says, mark the bubble next to the sentences with subjects and verbs that agree. Jariah, can you read the first sentence for us? Did you say Mom and Karen washes the clothes on Saturdays? Okay, that's what the first sentence says. And then can I please have Lyric read the second sentence for us? Pete sings in the children's choir at church. Okay, go ahead and mark the bubble that is correct, that has the subject and the verb that agrees. And when I talk about the subject and the verb agreeing, that means that if it's talking about, if the sentence has one person or one thing, there should be a S or ES at the end of the verb. If the sentence is about more than one person or thing, there should not be an ending at the end of the verb. And if you did it correctly, you should have bubbled in the bubble next to the second sentence. Pete sings in the children's choir at church. Now let us finish up with a little bit of dictation. Who can remind me of the special sound at the beginning of the word knee or not? Yes, it is a special sound, spelled with K-N. Remember that as you are writing the sentence. I'm going to tell you a sentence. You are going to write the sentence. Don't forget that every sentence should have something particular at the beginning of it and at the end of the sentence as well. Here is your sentence. Write down the sentence that you hear me say. I'm going to say it 2 times. Did you hear Tim knock on the window? Did you hear Tim knock on the window? Go ahead, hit pause, write your sentence down now. Okay, here's what you should have. It is right here at the bottom of the screen. Did with a capital D because it's the beginning of the sentence. Did you hear Tim? Tim with a capital T. Tim with a capital T because it is a proper noun. That's his name. And at the end of the sentence, we should have a question mark because this is an interrogative sentence. It's asking a question. All right, go ahead and fix your work if you need to, and I will see you all soon.